before we embark, as we embark on a new journey, before we enter into or embark on this new journey, 3 points have to be understood. First, you have to understand what is loneliness. Not as you have understood the negative, instead, all inclusive, aloneness, all oneness. Want to be, this means to be alone is basic, foundational. That is how real your being is. Like in mother's womb, like in a cosmic womb, you are all alone. No one to talk to. Totally alone. And the psychologists say it creates an hankering for liberation, for nirvana, for enlightenment, for salvation, for paradise. And it has been deeply imprinted on your memory of experience, this memory of the experience of mother's womb and now the cosmic womb. You have known it. You have known what is total aloneness. Now you have to practice it, what you have learned before you came into the existence. You were prepared to enter into this world of duality, world of conflict, where aloneness alone is nourishing and a state of inner bliss. You have known this moment. You have lived this moment for 9 months. Whatsoever has been ingrained into your memory is so deep that it cannot erase. You can forget it. You can become oblivious of it. Total aloneness and the bliss of it. You were alone. You were alone, you were God, and when there is aloneness on a lonely island where you alone exist, you are God, no one else. God means the oneness. Only one exists. In mother's womb, you alone existed. No one else was there. No one was to disturb you. No one interfered in your life then. Alone you were the master. With no conflict, the peace was intrinsic. Silence was there, but no language. These are the essential qualities that has been experienced by you during your sojourn. Stay in mother's womb. No conflict, intrinsic peace, silence with no language. You were in deep harmony with yourself. Now, you are not consciously aware of this moment, so you have to be taken back into that moment that you have spent in mother's womb. Meditation is that technique. The association of one who has consciously lived those moments, relived those moments that are imprinted deeply into your memory. It is hidden in the unconscious. It has to be surfaced. A constant communion of the awakened one surfaces it, brings it from unconscious to conscious layer. Because of this, psychologists say that everyone thinks that life in childhood was beautiful. It has been the belief not only of psychologists but of each one of us. And every country, every race, every religious being thinks this past, the childhood, was the golden age. Somewhere in the past, life was blissful. Hindus have called this as Satyug, the age of truth. In the past, somewhere, in a distant past, very, very far inside the life's journey, before history began, life was already there, but not the history that is written, that you have known. Everything was beautiful and blissful. No conflict, no strife, no violence, only love eternal. A gift from heavens prevailed there, nourished and nurtured you. That was the golden age. Then came the fall, the paradise lost. So the golden age is before the fall, before the paradise was lost. Every country and every race and every religion believes that golden age was somewhere in the past. And the strangeness is that howsoever deeply into the past you move, this was always believed so, and while regressing back to that state, you never reach that. In Europe, in Mesopotamia, a stone has been found which is 6,000 years old. And on this there is an inscription. If you read it, you will feel that it is the editorial of today's morning newspaper. It is, if you read what is inscribed on it, you will feel that it is the editorial of today's morning news. The inscription says that the age is the age of sin. The age is the age of sin. Everything has gone wrong. The son does not believe in the father. The wife does not believe in the husband. Darkness was set. Where are those days, those golden days, the days of the past, those golden days? This is 6,000 years old inscription. Lao Tse says that in those days of the ancient past, distant past, in the days of the ancient, everything was blissful. At times, a rare one of you had envisioned this, had the glimpses of it. Then Lao Tse says everything was beautiful. Then Tao prevailed, and there was nothing wrong. But we interpret everything, every word, every syllable as wrong. Because as the Zen says, after the last meal is over, clean the pot. And what is the pot? The mind. When the last dinner is over, last meal is over, clean the pot. Tao prevailed, and there was nothing wrong. And because there was nothing wrong, no one preached. Nothing was to be told to you. There was nothing wrong to be changed, transformed, and there was no priest, no preacher, no moral leaders, because everything was so right and flowing profusely. Lao Tse says that in those days, those old days, religion did not need. There was no religion. There was no need because Tao, the essence, prevailed. Very many times you are given a name by the parents of the society, but very rarely does someone give a name to himself or herself. There was no need for any religion, any teaching, any scriptures then. Tao, because Tao prevailed. Everyone was so religious. There was no need for the religion. Religion is the hospital for a clinic for inner healing. There were no sages then, because there were no sinners. Everyone was such a sage that naturally no one was aware of who the sage was and who the sinner was. All dichotomy, no dichotomy existed there. Psychologists say that this past never existed. This past is just a deep memory within every individual of the womb. Inside the womb, this deep memory was infused, was recorded. Really, Tao was in the womb, and everything was beautiful, blissful, as it should be. Completely unaware of the world, the child was moving in a state of bliss. The situation of the child in the womb is that of is just as it was the one of the Hindu god of Trinity, Vishnu, lay resting on the bed of snakes, Seshnag. Hindus believe that Vishnu is lying on this couch, a serpent couch, floating in the ocean of bliss. Recently it has been discovered by the scientists that it is the child position in mother's womb. There is a floating couch within the mother's womb in the placenta, which is like the ocean of bliss, wherein the child lay rest couched on the bed. And you may be surprised to know that the water in which the child floats during his sojourn in mother's womb has the same constituent as that of oceanic water. Very similar, the same salt everywhere. It is ocean water, very soothing, comforting, and the womb always keeps the right temperature for the child to grow. The mother may be shivering with cold. That makes no difference for the child. Deep inside, the same temperature remains in the womb, is warm, blissful, floating. This is the memory. Now, childhood regained. For some who have attained, there is warmth, and blissfully you are floating with no worries, no anxieties, no responsibilities, alone, and yet still you feel all these things are being done by an unknown force. You do not have to do much efforts and things happen around you. This is the basic reality, how you were before you entered the world of duality, the world of conflict. And this will be really again when you go beyond the society, out of society. When you die consciously to this, you will again be alone. And between these 2 points of loneliness, your life is filled with many events. But those events are accidents. Deep down you remain alone because that is your basic reality, basic nature. This is the essence of Tao. Around that aloneness, many things happen. You get married, you create relationships, you get married, you become 2, then you become You become two, you give birth to children, and you become many. Everything goes on happening, but just on the periphery. And you have learned to move from the center to the periphery. The deep stratum remains totally alone. That is your reality. You may call it your essence, you may call it Tao, your innerness, your center, but you have to find this center, this your essence, Tao, in the outer realm, and then one day it will become your reality. Enough for now.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया नारायण, आप हमारे साथ बने रहिएगा क्योंकि मैच पर डिस्कस करेंगे जो कि क्रिकेट का मुकाबला कल भारत और दक्षिण अफ्रीका के बीच 5 मैच की T20 सीरीज का ये तीसरा मुकाबला जो है वो रविवार को धर्मशाला के मैदान पर खेला जाएगा। सीरीज जो है वो 1-1 की बराबरी पर है। ऐसे में तीसरे मैच में